Bekka Bramlett is a name that echoes through the halls of music history. The daughter of Delaney and Bonnie Bramlett, she was born into a world where melody and rhythm were part of daily life. From an early age, she was surrounded by legends. But her journey has always been her own. You've seen her on stage, heard her voice on records, and maybe even caught an interview or two. But you've never seen her quite like this. These rare photos tell a side of Bekka's story that most people have never witnessed. They aren't glossy album covers or stylized press images. They are real, intimate moments captured without the pressure of performance. One image shows her barefoot in a recording studio, hair tied back, wearing a loose t-shirt and lost in the middle of writing a song. Another shows her smiling so naturally, sitting cross-legged on a couch with a cup of coffee in her hand, her eyes sparkling as if she's just shared a private joke with the photographer. Some of these images date back to her earliest days as a performer. In them, you see a young woman who hasn't yet been shaped by the highs and lows of the music industry. She's experimenting with her style, her sound, and her identity. These photos are filled with a kind of innocence and curiosity that is hard to find once fame takes hold. Then there are the shots from her touring years, when the pace was fast and the nights were long. One photo captures her standing just off stage, microphone in hand, head tilted back as she laughs at something a bandmate has said. Another shows her mid-performance, her voice pouring out with raw emotion, eyes closed, completely in the moment. You can almost hear the music when you look at it, but perhaps the most striking images are the ones where she's alone. A black and white shot shows her in a small kitchen, leaning over a notebook, pen in hand, her brow furrowed in concentration. Another has her sitting in a sunlit room, holding an old guitar with worn frets, fingers gently resting on the strings as if deciding which chord to play next. These are moments of solitude, reflection, and creativity, the kind of moments that fuel the public performances we all see. The untold story these photos reveal is one of determination and authenticity. Bekka has lived a life filled with challenges. Growing up with famous parents, carving out her own identity in a competitive industry, and dealing with the constant pressure to be something extraordinary. Yet through it all, she stayed true to herself. Friends describe her as fiercely independent, deeply loyal, and always guided by her love for music. Some of the photos even show the less glamorous side of her career. One is her sitting on the floor of a hotel hallway, eating takeout food straight from the container after a long night on stage. Another shows her walking through a rainy city street with no umbrella, her hair wet, but smiling like she wouldn't have it any other way. These are the moments that don't make headlines, but they are the ones that make a life. What's so compelling about this collection is that it bridges the gap between Bekka the performer and Bekka the person. You get to see the woman behind the microphone, the artist behind the songs, the human behind the image. And once you see these moments, it's impossible to separate them from the music you know. These rare photos remind us that even the most talented artists have quiet, unguarded moments that define who they are. They aren't just about nostalgia. They're about understanding and appreciating the person as a whole. If you thought you knew Bekka Bramlett, think again. These images will make you see her in a way you never have before. Stay tuned because there's more where this came from. Subscribe now so you don't miss the next untold story we uncover.